Hello everyone, this video is all about positive psychology and anxiety. Is it helpful to try and think positive when it comes to anxiety? Will thinking positive help you recover? Is it simply a matter of turning your glass half empty mentality when you're in an anxious or fearful state into a glass half full mentality? That's what this video is about. And the reason why I'm doing it is because it can be a little bit of a trap for a lot of people who try and force it with good intention but end up getting stuck, more stressed, frustrated, and potentially more sensitized in the process when they don't understand what's going on and why it potentially doesn't work. So that's what this video is about. Is positive thinking generally good? Absolutely. Is it great to think positive, to allow your mind to wander to all the amazing things in the world? As I'm sitting here looking at this video, the sun's shining, I can see green grass, the sky is blue. It's great to think about your loved ones, family, or your hopes and ambitions, dreams, career, holidays. That's all really good stuff. It's really good for the body and the mind to, allow your mind to wander to all the good stuff. So positive thinking as a general rule is good, but what we're talking about today is positive thinking in the context of anxiety. Often what people do is, because they have fearful, negative thoughts, they're constantly worried, obsessing about future, ruminating over the past. They think, well, can't you just think positive? Stop thinking so negative, just think more positive. And often people supporting those with anxiety, that's what they will say. Therapists will try and say, it's all in your mind, just come on, change your thinking, and you will change how you feel. And it's true in one sense, in that, of course, in order to recover, we will eventually change our thinking. But again, as always, what they're not taking account of is nervous system sensitization. So I'm sitting here as a non-anxious person. I recovered many, many years ago now from anxiety. So when I start to think positive, looking at the blue sky, the sun, the grass, it makes me feel good, because my flight or fight response is not hypervigilant. It's not overactive. My nervous system is no longer sensitized. It's no longer fatigued. It's no longer thinking or looking out for issues or problems. So it's not primed to react to a memory of being outside that might have been difficult. Oh gosh, I'm never going to enjoy the sun again. It's not doing any of that stuff that an otherwise positive situation might trigger for someone. So the reason why positive thinking for those with anxiety doesn't work is because it doesn't take into account how the body reacts to thoughts that come into your mind. So most people in the bewildered state who try to think positive don't understand that it's not really the thoughts or the content of the thoughts that are causing all the problems. It's their highly sensitized nervous system. So when they try and think positive and they don't feel positive because they're sensitized, their flight or fight is active, their flight or fight response is going to suppress feelings of joy, love, warmth, positivity. It becomes a battle. And so you look at the blue sky and you should be enjoying that, and you don't feel it. You feel some underlying tension, some adrenaline, some heart palpitations. You might have a bit of derealization, and it just makes you actually more unhappy, because you should be thinking positive. You should be looking at the sun and enjoying it. You know that it's a nice day outside, but you can't feel it. So you can't connect these positive thoughts that you feel you should be having to how you feel, because you're bewildered by it. So we don't have to force the positive thinking, because then it becomes a battle. All we have to do is start to remind ourselves what's going on in these difficult moments with anxiety. We have to start to go, oh, I'm sensitized, so it makes sense that it's hard for me to think positive right now. All I'm worried about is the adrenaline that's surging, this overactive flight or fight response, because I'm sensitized for other reasons, for the stress that's built up in my life. If none of this is making sense to you, go back and watch my Anxiety Cure series where I talk about what sensitization is. But if we could rationalize that, all we have to do is start to remind ourselves why it's hard to think positive, why we're thinking negative, why we can't let certain thoughts go, why we're adding second fear to the negativity. to the thoughts that come up, because our body's reacting, our body's screaming at us to take every single thought seriously. Our body is feeling the voice of doubt. So even when we we view a positive scene, we see something funny that we would normally laugh to if we weren't anxious, or laugh at if we weren't anxious, the body, the flight or fight response, is reacting with a bit of fear. You should be really enjoying this. Why can't you just enjoy this? Why can't you let it go? So our body is fueling all the second fear of the voice of doubt, and that's why all this stuff is really hard and become a battle. Essentially what's happening, if you're trying to think positive, it's premature, because you're sensitized. We deal with the sensitization. We start to allow the adrenaline, the energy that's fueling the current negative thinking, fearful thoughts. We allow it all in the background, we float through it, allow that cycle to naturally die away, and then we might get glimpses of feeling relief, and positivity might return, feelings of joy might return. They always will. You'll get moments where you can start to see, actually, the glass is not as empty as I thought it was. Actually, maybe I can recover. Maybe it's true what this guy in the videos is saying. It's not serious. It's unpleasant, but it's not serious. Maybe it is true that the adrenaline fueling the current cycle of negative thinking, fearful thoughts, will always dissipate naturally if I allow it. And so then that's when we can allow the positive thinking to come in. We can then be more deliberate about thinking positive, thinking about future in a positive way, our career aspirations, our personal goals, love, whatever it might be. We can do that naturally without trying to force it. What happens with positive psychology, as well intended as it is, and I think it's a great concept in principle, but from an anxiety perspective, it does not take into account nervous system sensitization, and the fact that your body won't allow you to feel positive even if you're thinking positive thoughts. And if you don't know why that is, it becomes a battle, it becomes frustrating, and it actually becomes quite depressing. So the good news is that positivity will return. The glass half full mentality will return. You'll get glimpses of it the more you practice and allow without forcing. I hope that makes sense. If you've got any questions, put it in the comments, because it is a topic that comes up often. Positive thinking, yes, it's a great strategy, not when you're sensitized. I'm sure I'll see you again very soon. Take care.